Have you ever felt like you're falling behind? Have you looked at your counterparts or fellow peers and felt like they have their life planned out? They know exactly what they're doing, they know exactly where they're going, and they've achieved so much, and yet you have fallen behind. You're not where you want to be, you're not where you plan to be, you're not really achieving your goals, and you're just really playing catch up all the time. I know I'm guilty of that. I constantly beat myself up about not being where I want to be. And I know that many of us are guilty of this, especially with social media, because social media emphasizes the lack of anything, be it the way you look, what you own, where you go, where you travel to. Social media is a catalog of everything good in people's lives. So if you're constantly looking at that, then of course, all that's emphasizing and focusing on is all the negatives in your life, all the things that you lack. So we can't help but feel like we're not achieving enough. We're not where we're supposed to be. We're not doing as much as we're supposed to be. And I feel that this, especially with the young people now, they feel like they need to have their whole life planned out by 21, 22. Otherwise, they're slacking. And I feel like it's very important for us to look at that and find ways that when these thoughts take over, when you feel like you do, that you know how to, one, make yourself feel better, and two, why these feelings are coming over, and avoid the self-fulfilling prophecy that these feelings and thoughts could provoke. If you haven't been to my page before, I'm Hamasa, welcome. On this corner of the internet, I look at personal development as well as emotional and mental well-being and day-to-day issues. Please subscribe to my channel and introduce yourself in the comments below. I would love to get to know you guys. And for my returning followers, welcome back. So I myself have been guilty of feeling like this on numerous occasions. The first time that I felt like this was between my AS level and A levels. I did my AS level and then I won Miss England. So I had to take a year out of college to go to Miss World and to do all my duties as a beauty queen, as Miss England. So I fell behind and I wanted to finish my education. I wanted to get a degree. I wanted to study. I liked it. So my plan was to go back and study and finish my AS levels and then go on to uni. But what happened was all my friends who were in my AS level year, by the time I did my Miss England reign and went back to college, they had left and graduated. So I was left with a younger group. I was left with no one that I really knew. And I went back from being Miss England into college. So it wasn't easy for me to make friends, to blend in, to be accepted by my peers. I was just different. I lived a different life. I did different things. At that time, I was all over the press. I was always in the news. So everybody knew me and no one really, kids are cruel. When you're 16, 17, 18, like, it's like Mean Girls. So the girls made sure that I felt this small because I was a model or whatever it was that they didn't like. I don't know what it was. Anyway, I really, really felt behind. I felt like even though I've done this great thing and I've achieved something amazing, but when it came to my friends and my peer group, I was the only one left behind. They were all now going to university and moving out of town and starting new lives, meeting new people and making new friends. And I was still at college finishing off my A levels. And the same thing happened when I went to university because I had to take a year or two out for Miss England. By the time I got to uni, I was about 2 years older than my other classmates. So I graduated, I think, at 23 or 24, and my other friends graduated at 21. So again, I felt like I had, I should have done this better. I should have planned it. I should have put my head down and finished my studies. And I just felt really behind. And to be honest, with COVID and everything that's been going on, this is the second time I feel like I'm wasting time. But I feel like this time round, the sentiment is across board. I think a lot of people being stuck at home and not having day-to-day routines, day-to-day cycles, day-to-day plans has really just thrown people off. And a lot of people are feeling like they're fallen behind. and that they're not where they're supposed to be. And in most cases, rightly so, because of the pandemic. But at the same time, it's no good as feeling like that. So I myself have first-hand experience of how that could really feel. And social media is not the one, because you have it in your hands. You look at it 24/7. It's a click of a button, and like I said, it's a showreel of everyone's best bits of their day. Barely anyone posts their misery or failures. It's constantly wins, what they're eating, what they're wearing, how amazing they look, and all those things. So if you put it into context and look at 24 hours of someone's day and they post 30 seconds of that and it looks perfect, that doesn't mean that their entire day is that 30-second perfection. That's one thing to realize, but that's easier said than done. So what happens is, you look at these pictures, you're stuck at home, you feel a bit aimless, we don't know when the lockdown will end for sure, and also how things will be when things end. So it's only normal for us to feel very terrible, confused, and just anticipating what's to come. And we need to get hold of those feelings, because what happens is, not only you will really be feeling really terrible, but also negative thoughts and emotions don't produce positive actions. So what happens is, you fall into this rabbit hole of self-fulfilling prophecy, and therefore you are creating more negativity for yourself by wallowing in your dismay and in what's going on around you. So we need to stop those thoughts, and we need to find ways to not fall into this rabbit hole. Now, these feelings could be provoked by anything, be it marriage, if you thought you would be married by now and you're not, a career, a promotion, a life goal, studies, family, kids, whatever this is that's making you feel these emotions, which are regret, guilt, shame, disappointment, dismay, sadness, hurt, anger, upset. These feelings could be applied to any of these situations where you feel like you should have been there and you're not anymore, and so you feel the way you do. So by doing that, all you're doing is you're investing a lot of your thinking time and a lot of energy to feel these things and regret the past of things that you should have done. But by feeling the way you do and spending so much energy and time just feeling angry and guilty and shameful and self-shaming yourself, you're actually not going to be able to change anything from the past. The only thing that we can change about the past is how we think about it. No matter how much we think that we can change it, we can't. It's out of our control. So the only thing that we are in control of is the way we look at the past and how we think about it. Now, if we're going to sit there and spend all this energy in being miserable about what we should have done, then by the time it comes to actually picking ourselves up and changing it and making something happen now, we are beat. We're exhausted because we've used up all our energy in self-pity, self-shaming, and just self-hate. So then we have no energy, no motivation, no power, nothing to start creating more positive outcomes for ourselves and a more positive perspective on the future. So the important thing here is first for us to accept that there is nothing we can do about the past, and therefore we are investing all this time and energy and effort into something that's out of our control. Second thing would be that it is never ever too late. You know, the old saying goes, better late than never. You can make a choice. You can get up and decide whether you're going to have regret or you're going to be proactive and do something about it. There is no harm in grieving the things that you should have done or you could have seen. Let's say you're with a partner and you've invested a lot of your time into this relationship, and 6 years down the line it's fallen apart and you're sitting there and you're thinking, I should have seen this. I could have prevented this. Why did I waste so much time? I seen the red flags. I left it. Da, da, da. And that's okay to feel like that because you've invested time and effort into something. And grieve it. Accept it for what it is. Feel those emotions. Grieve it. But what's not okay, and there's a big difference in that, is to then stay in that self-pity mode. Is to then stay in that emotional state and just not come out of it and just keep going in circles and beat yourself up, waste all this energy, feel bad for something that you cannot change, and therefore you're in a cycle of creating the same sort of outcome for yourself because you're doing the same things. You're going into things with the same feelings, same emotions, same intentions, and so you're going to get the same results over and over again. How many times have you looked back at situations and relationships and people in your life and thought, oh my God, I should have known better. I should have nipped it in the bud sooner than later. Why did I waste so much time? So with the gift of hindsight and you knowing already that this is something that you do, be very conscious of how and what future you're creating for yourself. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, be conscious of how you're feeling and where your train of thought is. Is it in the present moment and thinking ahead, or is it in the past? Be careful with that. Pay attention to it. Make sure that you put time, effort, and energy into creating your future authentic self instead of wasting that time and energy, holding yourself back and keeping yourself stuck in this rut of negative, pessimistic thought process. So, you can show up as whatever you want every single day, and the choice is down to you. And the power is in your hands. This is where you can make a difference when you put that energy and effort in instead of the past. So utilize that and make sure that every morning, every day, wherever you go, that you show up as your best self, as your full potential, or at least have the intentions that this is what you want. And that's what you will start attracting. Positive thoughts and actions will obviously create better outcomes. Always remember that. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I feel like with the lockdown coming to an end, hopefully, fingers crossed, we are feeling all a little bit anxious. We are kind of dwelling on everything we wasted in the past year and a bit, or so we feel that way. But really take this time to really work on yourself, become self-aware, become more emotionally mature and intelligent, and just go out in the world as your best, positive, authentic self. If you haven't subscribed to my page, please do so. I would love to see you here again. Please like and comment on this video, and I will see you guys again here next week. Thank you for watching. Mwah.